Government is shut down. We are here to talk about what does this mean? What's this whole background around a federal government shutdown? And what does this mean for us? The federal government is a place with elected officials, right? So you have House of Representatives, you have senators from all the amazing 50 states. But what I do know is the federal government is in charge, meaning every single year they need to vote on a budget and it becomes tumultuous, right? It's almost like it turns into this pettiness. Instead of pretty and petty, it just turns into petty, right? It becomes very politicized. One side will want something, another side will want another. And so what they do is we're just gonna shut the government down. So I want to read a snapshot of kind of what's going on in this space because I see, and I know you're wondering, can I get a contract? What am I supposed to do with my contract? Do people get back pay? So let's talk about this. You can, of course, still get government contracts, but let's look at this. Republicans and Democrats are at an impasse right now. So it seems like this is going to continue, and President Trump is saying that layoffs are occurring. Asked this evening when federal workers would be fired, as he's threatened to do, Trump told reporters is taking place right now, and it's all because of the Democrats. So I've been in this space. My name is Dr. Kizzy Parks. Even behind this, the curls are popping. I have been in this space since Bush number 2. There have been numerous shutdowns, and this was the very first time in my entire life in government contracting. I entered this space around 07, 08, that in a notice from the government, it said that this shutdown was due to the Democrats. In the past, all of the notices were impartial. So just to paint a picture, okay? So the possibility of layoffs would escalate a tense situation. And of course, Democrats are insisting on renewing subsidies to cover health insurance costs, while Trump wants to preserve existing spending levels, as he believes that Democrats will have to cave because of the jobs and federal projects being put at risk. So there's this back and forth over what they desire, and the pawn in all of this is the federal government, period. But I want to point a few things out. This is what you sign up for. We can only control ourselves. So when you enter this space, whether you're a military member, whether you work for an agency, you're a contractor, you're dabbling, you're doing both, whether you should or shouldn't, this is what we signed up for. I foresee during the Trump administration, this is going to happen probably every year unless the House and the Senate are both Republican majorities. So what does that mean? There are people, contractors and government employees who are deemed essential. You will get a notice, which we received, that says your work is critical, your work is essential, and you may continue with your work. So number one, if you have a government contract, you should already know, should you continue, should you not. If for some reason you don't know, maybe your point of contact, your contracting officer representative, your contracting officer, maybe the main client is like Deuces and they were like, hey, Chris Brown, I want to go do a little photo shoot with him. And maybe they're not at work right now. You need to know this. This is very important. For those of you without a government contract, you're trying to get your first, second, third, fourth win. Are there opportunities? Okay, I'm just gonna pull it up on my phone for the sake of efficiency. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification. I'm so bummed, but it was my own fault. I did not win the fentanyl test strips. There was a little piece to the actual proposal I did not go into enough detail about. Everything else was perfect. I asked for a debrief from the Department of State. I received it. That person is clearly still working. So when it comes to federal government contracts, they are there, they are available. They may have monies that they're able to obligate, or they may say that this will be awarded upon funding. So what is going to happen at some point in time, the two parties, Democrats and Republicans, will figure out a budget. What they may do is pass a temporary budget. We have a continuous resolution. And let's say that goes until December 1st or January 7th or whatever the date is. And then they do this game all over again. Patience is the name of the game. Over communication is the name of the game. Coming to terms with this space is the name of the game. So if you are bidding on one of these thousands of opportunities and you email the Corps or the contracting officer, they may not write back. They're dealing with the fact that the 15th is going to come up and there's going to be 000 in their bank account. So it's very important when you win contracts to verify, hey, during the kickoff, how do I get paid? It says this. Who do I go to and how do I make sure my payment is approved? Do I need to be worried about a government shutdown? Will a government shutdown ever impact the funding? What happens if the government is shut down? Who do I communicate with? Trump administration has threatened the mass layoffs. Then while this is going on, National Guard has been deployed to a lot of Democratic-led cities, 300 National Guard troops to Chicago, and, also, apparently it's been stated that drug cartels are placing bounties on federal immigration agents. All of this is very connected to government contracting because you're going to see this increased emphasis and funding on immigration. And if this is a topic that's very sensitive to you, then don't bid on opportunities there. The whole situation with the government shutdown, especially with this administration, anticipate this will happen every year unless the House and the Senate are both controlled by Republicans come midterm election, which I'm not even sure mathematically if that's possible. I haven't looked at what seats are up for grabs, but at the end of the day, it's going to happen. And there could be even moderate Republicans that disagree. So it doesn't mean that everything's going to be easy breezy as the time goes on. And the same thing happens with government contracting, is this notion that, oh, I'm just going to write a bunch of contracts and make some money. You gotta have some proof of something, right? I'm really proud of you who are constantly learning, applying, adjusting, because that's what's key. So all that this government shutdown is doing is further allowing the administration to continue on with their initiatives. Removing race-based things, shedding the federal government workforce. DOGE is still actively cutting contracts. That hasn't stopped. There are contracts that aren't being funded. There are contracts that are being reviewed by DOGE. Another piece of news that's really important is you're going to find that many agencies are not going to post a forecast because they don't want it to be scrutinized. With the upcoming increase in simplified acquisition dollar amount, you're going to see a lot more. I'm just going to be blunt. Favoritism and easy button. So they know rare earth is easy to work for you, to do work with you. They're going to want to do work with you. So let's talk about this whole merit base. When it comes to federal government contracts, the contracts are evaluated based on the evaluation criteria in the actual posting. So sometimes it's based on best trade-off, sometimes it's based on lowest price technically acceptable, sometimes it's based on you have to be on a contract vehicle. And so at the end of the day, it has to deal with you meeting and exceeding their criteria. That's all it means at the end of the day. So, for instance, this opportunity that I didn't win, because I'm not going to BS you and say I won everything, because that's not how it works. LeBron didn't make all of his shots. There were more shots he didn't make than he made. Same thing with government contracting. I've brought in over 50 million and I've lost probably 4 times that. That's just the nature of life. So with this fentanyl drug testing strips, they said I didn't go into great detail about how I was going to get them there, but my price is $1,000 less. That's fine. I messed up. I didn't give them what they needed. Okay. So there is a debrief that you get part of Proposal Master Academy. And in there, the agency was like, you didn't explain how. And I was like, Lord, they're right. So it's very clear why I didn't win. And I can't blame them. It's on me. I didn't give them what they wanted. I'm gonna break this down for all of you because I sense like there's a misunderstanding right now. It's a mind shift, a mindset shift. This isn't like, oh, I'm a realtor. Let me try and get my commission and sell X amount of houses. It's more about what are you willing to offer the government? So the federal government leases space. You don't have to be a realtor to do any of this, Felicia. So they will lease space long-term, short short term. They may have real estate contracts. So there's a gentleman, David, who I've interviewed. He has a sizable contract for housing in Hawaii for the victims of the fire in Maui. He's not a realtor. He's able to supply and demand and make it work. So let's look at the government. So there's a woman in my Facebook group who helped broker an opportunity for somebody who owns space to provide it for National Guard or military recruiting, but she doesn't own the property. So basically, she's getting a broker fee. So that's what she's doing. Everything is possible, y'all, but don't give up. You're gonna get what you're gonna figure out and find out the funding. Everything's possible by y'all. Everything is possible.